What is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis here, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and I'm here for my UBL D-League transaction video where I'm gonna be going through one change that I decided to make to my roster, what I originally drafted, and which you can see from the left below of your screen, and kinda trying to go and give a brief explanation of what were my motivations of doing this change. And how do I feel like the change will help me out fixing that problem that I started to notice from team building aspect, especially in week 1. And I figured the problem what I had in week 1, I want to make sure it doesn't reoccur yet again and cause me similar issues. And what I'm talking about basically is a fighting typing weakness that I felt like it was a little bit overlooked for my behalf as I was going through the draft itself, and I end up having this team itself. I thought at first that I would be able to manage fighting types with the responses what I have, but in case if you didn't see the week 1 battle when we went up against a Conkelder and how much pressure that thing put on paper versus my team, or just saying it right now, fighting types with access to Knockoff and Ice Punch, for example, those kind of fighting types kind of murder me right now on paper, and they can really provide a lot of pressure, and I would not like to have that much pressure coming from a fighting types themselves, considering that some of my main components of my team are Megalopony and Green Black, for example. So I felt like it was better for me to try to address that weakness on my team and find a better solution for my lower tier pick to patch up that weakness that I have, even if I would be sacrificing a mon that I believe is one of the best mon in its own tier. But that's basically the motivations that I thought that I want to go and fix a little bit from my roster, and now let's go and see that how I actually end up doing it. And as you can tell from the screen, I decided to drop my tier 5 pick in Little in extension of Weezing. And going through the Little, why I felt like it was expendable was mainly the fact that my higher tier picks being Megalopony and Green Black, which I mostly will be relied on, them having a fighting type weakness shared between each other, it was very hard for me already in week 1, and I feel like it's going to be a trend going forward if I didn't make this change, that it's going to be very hard for me to able to bring Little alongside with those two mons, or even like in general it felt like it was too much of a anti-synergy within the team, even how well I thought that Little could be paired with Kofu Creek itself too. And I wouldn't pass on the idea that I would be trying out doing that kind of core yet again, which I have done in the past. But now, because of my higher tier picks do share such a fighting type weakness already, I didn't feel like Little is gonna be having a fair chance to be brought into games as often as I would like to. And because of that, I felt like it was expendable. It would have been nice to be able to keep the wish passing support and cleric options that it provides, and being a solid pivot, but I figured there was another tier 5 which was still available that could be a better fit on the team, and also being a better C captain. That is gonna be Weezing. Disco Balls is gonna be the nickname for Weezing, and Weezing itself as a C captain, I feel like it's gonna be a lot better in that role if I choose to go that route, considering the C status options that it has on its arsenal. C Memento, C Haze and C Stockpile, all 3 of those can be really solid options for me in team building to utilize my Weezing in different kind of roles, especially as a defensive pivot, cause C Stockpile and C Haze both give it a form of recovery back to full on one turn, which gives it a lot better longevity options throughout the battle if I choose to go with that and not utilizing just a raw pain split as a form of recovery. And with C Memento, it does give me another Memento use on my team, but unlike the others which aren't C captains, this one I actually can provide the mon which is gonna be coming in on the following turn back to full health. So he gave me a lot of cool options in my second C captain. I feel like now I have better C captains overall with Landry and Weezing on the team. But besides that, as a pure poison type, it should be giving me a lot of key resistance, especially the fighting, which I've been mentioning a lot as a main attraction to this. But it also supports the fairy typing weakness that Mega Lopunny and Creme Black has, and gives me a second Toxic Spiker on my team alongside with Go for Kriegers, and giving me another crown immunity throughout Levitate, which is gonna be a really cool aspect to have, and really preventing opposing crown types barring Psyguard forms to be able to really going for Earthquakes versus me when I have so many immunities, and only having one weakness in Psychic. I feel like my rest of the roster, what I have, especially certain mons, can really support that weakness that Weezing does have, as long as Levitate comes into play. So that is gonna be the change. Let's go and see how the team actually looks on the full picture, as we are gonna be utilizing this roster starting from week 2. And that is going to be my free agency transaction what I decide to make in UBL D-League Season 1. I know it's very minor because it's only about my tier 5 pick, but I really think there's a lot of upside going into this. Having Weezing over Licky on my roster, when you look at how well it can support my higher tier picks, and how well I can support Weezing's only weakness to Psychic with some of my mons like Alola Mach and Bronzong, I think can really support Weezing within the team and be able to function as a really solid member and a valuable member as a tier 5 mon itself. Let me know what you think about the change what I made. Is there anything else you would like me to consider changing going forward, which I could potentially benefit from? And hopefully you enjoyed watching this. Until tomorrow, when we are gonna be having our week 2 battle uploaded here on my channel. Thank you all for watching, and until then, I'll be see you guys later.